Have you ever encountered a hurdle with launching or growing your business? Listen, there are two things that run a business, the back end and your soft skills.
Telling you right now, if these aren't in place, you'll lose clients and you'll lose money. You don't want that? Well, you're in the right place.
Hey, I'm Dana.
Hey, I'm Sarah.
We're your hosts of the Entrepreneur Encounter, and we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes glance into our businesses, give you genuine feedback, tips and tricks, plus occasionally bring on guests that care about supporting you to grow your business organically and nurturing authentic relationships. Are you ready?
No matter the industry you're in, you always interact with people. Customer service is more than just checking off to-do lists or sending a monthly email update. Customer service is what drives your business. On your journey as an entrepreneur, you'll be faced with many decisions and will have to problem solve. But if you create the ultimate customer experience for your business, you'll have great success. With 18 years in customer service and experience as a business owner and mom of two, our guest shares how mastering project management and communication has been the key to her success. Tune in for insights on how soft skills can help you manage multiple tasks, build trust with clients, and create effective systems to streamline your workflow. If this conversation sparks your desire to strengthen your own soft skills, we invite you to check out our Soft Skills Studio, a space where purpose-driven entrepreneurs like you gain practical tools to lead confidently and communicate effectively. You'll find the link in the show notes to learn more and join our growing community. Now let's get to the episode. Welcome to our show, Alicia. Thank you so much for being here today. If you can go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and all the amazing things and how soft skills have impacted your life.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Dana and Sarah, for having me on the show today. My name is Alicia. I go by True, and I am a full-time project manager. I work with service-based businesses, especially health and wellness service-based businesses, to manage projects in their business as well as to improve their customer service. I have been an entrepreneur for 8 years now, or maybe a little bit longer. I have been in the customer service industry for 18 years. Specifically, as soon as I had a job, I was working in customer service. And I am a mom of two, and soft skills have impacted both my personal and my professional life in many different ways. One, as being a mom and as being a business owner, like you have to master project management. You have to master managing multiple tasks at one time. And I think that's one area where my soft skills definitely deliver. There's other areas like strategic planning, which helps me map out and make decisions and build decision-making criteria and so forth. But my soft skills have been the thing that has allowed me to grow my business and in my personal life as well.
I love that you say that it's helped you grow your business, because oftentimes when you start your business, you think about the technical skills, the hard skills, like, okay, like I can set up the project management tool. I can do whatever services that you offer, you know what you're doing. But when it comes to like time management, communication, you have to figure out a way that those soft skills can play into your business to grow your business. Because when you were talking about how you have experience in customer service, no matter what type of business that you have, you're going to talk to people all the time, whether that's through social media or a call like this or whatever the case may be. So yeah, you got to figure out how to like hone in on those skills.
That's a big thing. And you have to also know that you're going to come across different type of people as you are navigating business. Like when you're growing. So I remember working as a server in a restaurant, and as you know, like you get multiple different personalities that walk through the door, and some aren't so friendly, some are friendly, but that's the same thing that I noticed when managing different projects and working with different clients. Everybody has a different personality, and being able to navigate and hone in on that communication soft skill is a huge thing. Because whether you're sending an email or you're talking on the phone or you're at an event, you have to know how to navigate those spaces and do it in a way where the end goal and the main thing stays the main thing. So
I think that proves like not just communication, but effective communication is critical for entrepreneurs looking to, whether they're in the launch phase, the scale phase, whatever phase of business they're in, like effective communication, whether it's written or verbal, is super important. With your expertise in project management, what are some common communication challenges that business owners face, and how do you recommend that they overcome them?
some of those challenges that business owners typically face are things like meeting deadlines or actually knowing what that client is asking for them to do. So there's several different ways to overcome those challenges. One of the things, and I'm speaking specifically to service-based business this right now, but there is an area where this applies to those who have products as well. But having a scope of work is essential. So, meaning that if you're providing a service for someone, clearly outlining what it is that you're going to be doing for them, and then when they are expected to have those deliverables by. And so, when an entrepreneur is going in or a business owner is going in to do a project or to provide a service for someone, again, identifying what you're doing, how you're going to do it, and when you'll have it done by is going to be essential. Now, for a person who's doing like a product or something of that nature, you want to have a clear policies and procedures, because not just having them written out, but also having them visible. So having them on your website, having them in your follow-up emails, which should be automated as well, things of that nature will assist you with growing and having effective communication. Because like I said, one of the common issues that I see is that miscommunication about what actually needs to be done. Also, when it comes to the deadline piece and things of that nature, if you set clear expectations in the beginning, meaning we'll have this to you, your product will be delivered by this date. And then you have an automated system that is assisting you with sending out notifications, sending out a tracking number, and so forth. Or on the other hand, if you're a service-based business, again, you have automations going directly out via email. Hey, our call is scheduled for this day. Similar, like when we got on this call, you all sent me out an email reminder. It sent me out a notification. And so that biggest thing that I see, that biggest gap in communication is what actually are the expectations? What are the policies around that? And then deadlines.
I love communication. I think I over communicate at sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, it reminds me of one of the clients I work with. I don't necessarily have to tell her like, hey, this is done. Like, 'cause I'm her business manager. She trusts me. I've been with her for a while and all the things, right? But for some reason, I don't know. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to tell her that it's done so that she knows that it's done. But I don't need to do that. But I think that's an extra step in a way to where you're working with clients. And yes, they have access to the project management tool. But if you are to communicate at a great level, but then to over communicate as well, I think that indicates you're building trust with the people that you're working with. Because if you don't communicate, you're going to lose so much. And then things are going to go in a downward spiral. I mean, we talk about communication every single episode. Communication, you have to talk it out. You have to say that, like, hey, like, I've learned lessons over the years that, okay, so I'm going to offer you a service. Here's a contract, but know the fact that X, Y, and Z is going to happen if more work gets added on. Like, we're going to change that. Like, if you don't communicate, things get lost, people get frustrated, and you're going to either lose clients, ruin your reputation. There's so many things that can happen if you do not communicate.
Yeah. And a big part of what you said is about building the trust. Like, that is essential. We all know or have heard that thing of people do business with people they know, love, and trust. And it's like, well, when you first start off, whether it's a product or a service, they don't really know you. They just know you from whatever that initial interaction is. Typically, they don't love you yet because they haven't known you long enough, right? And so the only thing you do have is the trust. And so you use that trust to build those other factors. And I do think communication stands in the gap and does that for you. That along with great customer service and so forth.
I love how that we all come from like some sort of customer service backgrounds, because the more conversations that we have with other entrepreneurs, like they've worked with people in the past. So those skills that you have, and I think this is where another thing too that comes into play, people don't realize that they're transferable skills. Yes, like whatever you're learning in, if you're a server, if you're in sales, whatever the case may be, you can bring those skills into your business as well. Now that helps you build your business too.
Yeah, that definitely helps a lot.
So my question is, because building trust, it does take time, effort, and energy. So how do you balance delivering that top tier customer service while juggling multiple projects? Because very rarely do we as entrepreneurs just have one client. We have multiple clients with multiple deadlines and multiple communication channels flowing at the same time. Because you talked about utilizing like technology to scale. So how do you fit that into the balance of all of those things?
So at the core of that is always going to be my operating procedures. If I have an SOP in place, then we know how it needs to go. But as we all know, sometimes, especially when you're the founder of a company, you don't always follow those checklists and those SOPs accordingly. So when I have them in place and I utilize systems, so for example, I have email workflows in place. So if someone completes a specific form, it's going to automatically send them a follow-up email. It's going to automatically already tag them as far as the date that they submitted it, who they are, what the form was regarding. And so because I do daily check-ins, meaning like I'm going into my management systems, looking at what it is that I have on my to-do list and so forth, it's automatically going to tell me you didn't reach out to this person, or the last time you talked to this person was on this date. So one of the biggest things is, like I said, having the operating procedures in place where I know what it is I need to do. The second thing would be my automations, having those in place, because now I can see when was the last time I spoke with someone? What was it that we spoke about? And so the system, the specific software that I use, I'm able to go in and actually like leave internal notes and do everything from my software. I can make phone calls, I can send emails, I can send text messages, all from my software. So it gives me a little bit of balance when it comes to jumping from project to project or communicating with customers and things of that nature. So SOPs and automations is the biggest way of balancing having multiple clients and keeping that customer service at the forefront. Because even if I can't get on the phone with them, or if my assistant can't get to them immediately, then the system is still, it's from us. It's something we build. It sounds authentic. It's us. And so with that being said, we're keeping communication open and are able to get back to it immediately.
Love that you have operating procedures. This is one of my favorite topics as a business manager, and making sure that everybody knows what they're doing, right? So when you're talking about you have an assistant, if you have multiple people working on, let's say, one thing, like how is that done? And so they can look back at that standard operating procedure and they can look at those steps. That is so important to have within your business. And I tell people this all the time, like you have to create something like written. Dana likes to create little Loom videos. I'm like, let me write it all out. And it definitely helps. It's not because I've heard this before where people say, well, I don't want to create an SOP because somebody else is going to take my job. No, it's not the case. So one of the clients I have, I was gone for 4 days and she was so thankful that I created all these SOPs, because she wasn't doing the work as much anymore because I was doing it. But since I was gone, she needed to step in. And she's like, if I didn't have this SOP, I would have not even known what to do. That in itself, that's why you should have those. Because if you're working on something, let's say that you're sick and something needs to get done today, your assistant or whomever can step in and do it if it's communicated properly.
Yes, I agree. And oftentimes we don't think about that as entrepreneurs. I went to the dentist the other day and I was getting a deep clean. I was just laying there thinking about like, oh my God, I'm working on a specific project right now, but I'm the head of the project currently. And I'm like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. And I can't do any of those things because I'm laying in this chair. And so it made me think about like, oh my goodness, I never want to get to a point. And that was that reflection moment. I never want to get to a point where my business is losing or my clients are losing because I don't have the right systems and people in place for this business to grow and thrive. And that brings us back around to the soft skills piece. That's why all of it is important. That's why going in and having leadership, having the vision and being able to articulate it, and whether you're doing it through a Loom video or written, having those things in place for those reasons, because life happens to us and there are times where we do have to step back. And like you said, it helped with leaving the step-by-step process that needed to be implemented while you were away. So I definitely received that.
Yeah.
Hey there, listeners. Ever feel like you're struggling to connect with customers or lead your team effectively? That's where soft skills come in.
Entrepreneur Encounter isn't just another podcast. We're a community dedicated to helping early stage entrepreneurs like you master the soft skills that make or break a business.
Technical skills are important, but without communication, collaboration, and confidence, your business might never get off the ground to the next level.
In our membership, Dana and I share actionable insights and tips to help you nurture the soft skills you need to thrive.
Give you access to bonus content, workshops, and a network of like-minded entrepreneurs who are all on the same journey.
We'll teach you how to boost your confidence,
become a leader who inspires and motivates your team,
navigate conflict like a pro,
to resolve disagreements without drama and build stronger relationships,
communicate clearly and concisely, get your message across, build trust, and close the deal.
If you're ready to take your business to the next level, join the circle by clicking the link in the show notes.
I think, one, let me just say, when you were talking about operating procedures, I could just feel that you were talking to Sarah's love language. Let's just take a moment to recognize that. I do use Loom videos because writing is hard for me. So whether it's videos or written or however we do it, how do you recommend starting an SOP? Because if many of our listeners are in that transition of following someone else's SOP, and now they have to create their own, and that's a mindset shift of how do I tell someone how to do all these things and get it out of my head, because it is faster for me to just go and do it. But that kind of defeats the purpose if I need to be focusing on CEO tasks, not these other things. So how do you recommend starting and not getting overwhelmed with your first SOP as a business owner?
I'm smiling because this is going into my love language even more, right? And so one of the tools that I'm going to tell you to utilize is Tango. Tango is like one of my favorite plugins, because if you're a person who is used to doing everything on your own in your business, you can install Tango on your computer. You log in with your Google account, and from there, just do what you do. And what I mean by that is do what you do. If you're sending an email, if you're drafting a proposal, if whatever the task is, you do it. And Tango is going to document it step by step. And at the end of it, not only is it going to give you a PDF for you to follow and be able to share out with your team, but it's also going to give you a video or a guide me that allows you to walk through or see those steps in action for whoever is viewing it. And so I start with the tool because it's the easiest thing where you can utilize this tool and put it in place, and it creates that SOP for you. And now you just have to file it or send it to the right department or the right person and so forth. But essentially, you're starting off the same way. Look at what you're doing and write down each step by step. And so if the first thing you had to do was turn on the computer. And the reason why, look, it's funny. Let me tell you why I say it this way. I say it in this manner. I remember I had to be in like 4th or 5th grade, and I had this instructor. It was an English class. And she gave us this assignment to write about how we would make a bowl of cereal. And so this was before giving us the cereal or anything. We had to write out how we would. So this was probably my first SOP I wrote out. So I'm writing out how to make the cereal and everything. So the next day, she brings in everything to make a bowl of cereal. But we could only do exactly what we wrote on the paper. So if you forgot to take the top off the milk, you just didn't have milk in your cereal. So I didn't take the top off my milk in my writing. And so therefore, I had a bowl of cereal without any milk in it. And so that just reminds me, again, that was the first SOP I wrote. But for someone who is starting off, you're writing out step by step, and you want to be mindful of writing out every task, every little detail, because it's not your job to assume that the person who is reading it is just going to know, like, oh, you're going to know to turn on the computer. You don't want to assume anything. You want to write everything out step by step. And that's where you would start.
I love that. Yeah. When you talk about the cereal, I talk about peanut butter and jelly because like when I taught my kids how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I'm like, so what do you do first? Get the peanut butter. I'm like, no, you have to go walk into the kitchen. Like you have to do all these steps before you can just put the peanut butter on the bread.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love that. And also when you write out your SOP, you look at it and you're like, that's what I do. Like, you know what you do. And you think that's going to take like 5 minutes to do something. And for you, yes, it's going to be quick, but like figuring out those steps, you realize a lot more. Like, you're like, I do all of this, you know?
I'm the queen of thinking something only takes 5 minutes. And in reality, it takes like 3 times that.
Because then you have to realize like, oh, wait, I skipped this step, or, oh, I have to go back and do this thing, or, oh, I left this piece out. And that's why I said I recommend the Tango, and I'm not a paid sponsor with them at all. And there's other software that is just like it, but it writes out the things that you forget or don't even notice that you do.
I'm going to have to look that up. I think I've heard of it years ago. And then obviously I wasn't growing my team. So it was like, oh, that's neat. And then I let it go. But now I'm growing my team and they're like, what do we do? And I'm like, oh, I should have already done this. And like I have some stuff written down, but I'm usually so quick to send a video. I'm like, now I'm going back and thinking, well, what if their like learning style isn't video and they need a almost like when you were saying turn on the computer, that made me think of like Math Quest when it was like turn out of your driveway, like those steps. And that's, I'm like, oh, I need to really fine tune my process here. So I'm so excited. I'm going to be diving into that.
I hope it definitely helps you. And like you said, still do your video, but you can include all of it because like you said, their learning styles may be very different. So if you're someone who is a visual learner or audio learner, then you can read it, you can see it, you can be walked through it step by step. But now they get to choose what's best for them. And you've done your part by providing all parts.
Love it. Okay. If you could go back based on all of this knowledge that you are dripping upon us and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, that's exciting. I would tell younger me to stay consistent, and you're going to learn more. Like you don't have to learn everything at one time. You don't have to eat the whole buffet right now because you'll probably get sick and throw it up. You don't have to do that. You can take things step by step. I think that the younger version of me was so eager to like, oh, I can do this thing and it's helping people. Oh, now it's making money and helping people. And I was so excited by that. And then I started to learn that I'm not just gifted in one area. Like you talked about transferable skills, Sarah. Like I have transferable skills that helps me succeed in multiple areas of business and life. And the younger me was so eager to tap into all of these different areas. Like I've been a certified lash tech. I've worked in the service industry. I've worked in nursing homes. Like I have all of these different things I tried. And then when I got into business, it gave me this do it all mindset. And so I am a firm believer that you should do whatever you can handle. Yes, I do think niching down is great. I think it should be done. You should be able to master one area. But I had to learn that. In the beginning, I didn't understand what they meant when they said niche down. I always felt like everyone trying to put me in a box. Everybody only want me to do this one thing. But that's what I would go back and tell my younger me. Find that one thing that you are really in love with, and you'll know when you know, and stay consistent in that. And when you see it grow to a certain level that is desirable for you, that feels good, that is providing impact, and that is also bringing you in a profit, then go ahead and branch out and invest your time, efforts, and energy into some of those other areas.
Yes, I would agree with that 100%. Because I'm going to tell you, when I was like, niche down, I don't want to do that. That's like, no, I got all these skills. I know all this stuff. Like, I don't want to do that. But no, I appreciate your insight. And it is inspiring because when you think about like your younger self, you want it all right now. But no, like, you got to take the time. You got to be patient. Like the other day I was thinking about it. I'm like, I want all this stuff right now. But like in reality, no. I'm like talking to myself. I'm like, are we not happy? I am happy where I'm at. So things take time. And I think we have to realize that it does take time. And I'm glad that people do take the time to learn and grow and have conversations with people to figure out things, whether that's in your personal life or your business life, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah. And that's exciting. I think the key there that you said was it takes time. Like, I am a firm believer you can have it all. Whatever you want, whatever you put your time, effort, energy, and your focus on, you can have it all. You can do those things, but it does take time, and you don't get it all at once. And you do have to prepare for it, and you do have to stay consistent in areas, and you do have to learn how to pivot, and you do have to learn how to walk away when things don't serve you, and so forth. And so by all means, like, young Alicia, you can have it all. Like, I'm in the middle. It's Women's History Month. So happy Women's History Month, ladies. And we're doing a 31-day challenge where I'm talking to women throughout the world. And each day we have a different task that we've been having to do, which it ties into our personal life and our business. But I think maybe a day or 2 days ago, what we talked about was writing a letter to the younger version of you and identifying all of the fears that she had and counteracting those with why they are no longer true. So just bringing it back into what we're discussing now, you can have it all. You just have to map out what's getting in the way in your mind. And again, like you said, take time. So I really love that, Sarah.
Well, thank you so much, Alicia, for being on the show today. We can go on and on and on.
I know, right?
You know, just like, I want to talk about this other stuff too. But in the future, definitely going to have you come back on, because I know there's many other topics that we can dive into and inspire other entrepreneurs. For those that are listening, where can they find you and connect with you?
Yes. So for anyone that's listening, if you're a website person, then you would go to truecreativemanagement.com. I encourage everyone to follow my social media platforms. On all platforms, it's at _true. That's TRUE.LEE, true.lee. For all of your visitors, I do currently have a 5 tips on improving your customer service worksheet. It's a free PDF. It can be downloaded if you go and follow my social media. It's the link in all of my bios. If you comment the word grow on any video that you see or any post that you see, you'll also have the link sent directly to your inbox. And we do have a masterclass coming up. It's a 5-day mentorship where I'm going over how to improve your customer service for service-based businesses. And for all of your listeners, we're giving them $20 off. So the class is $47. They'll get it for $27. They'll just use the coupon code GROW, GROW, but on all platforms, true.lee. And I'm definitely grateful for you all having me on the show today. And I'm excited and honored to come back anytime.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. So all the information is going to be linked in our show notes. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great night.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Remember, soft skills aren't just some fluffy buzzwords that get thrown around in the corporate world. They're the key to unlocking your full potential as a professional and a human being. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and seek out opportunities to improve your soft skills. Sarah and I have a variety of workshops, online courses, and complimentary clarity calls for you to practice in real time with us. Links are always in the show notes. And be sure to join us next time for more insights, tips, and tricks to help you succeed in your entrepreneur encounter.